welcome to our first episode of Coach's Corner for February. I'm Andy Bortz, glad to have you with us, where we're talking basketball this evening, and we're talking first with women's head coach Roseanne Scott. Coach, thanks for being on the show again.
Sure.
Let's go back in time a little bit and talk a little bit about some of the past games that the ladies played. First, starting off with St. Vincent. Obviously, that was a game that you guys knew that was going to be a challenge, and also talking about Grove City's game. We had that game delayed by snow, and that was the second time in a season that that's happened. Is that really, in effect, anything that changes strategy or gameplay when a game is delayed like it was?
Oh yeah, not strategy or that kind of thing, or have the same game plan. But I think when kids are ready to go, we're watching film, getting ready to load the bus, and then all of a sudden, game's canceled. I think mentally it does something to the girls, because I think, again, it's, then we have to practice again, and then, we really don't get a day off to, then we turn around and play Thursday, and then, practice Friday, then play Saturday and drive into Thomas More on Saturday. So it kind of makes the week a lot longer, and, and during this time of the season, your legs or the body gets tired, in the middle of February, end of January. So
now, in that Grove City game, we noticed a lot of turnovers in the first half, more than we're used to seeing from the Lady Titans, and it's definitely uncharacteristic. Was it just Grove City's defense that was playing assertively, or was it something on the offensive end that was needed corrected?
So I was trying to remember that game, but Grove City's very good defensive team. They were pressuring us every time we got the ball inside. They were swarming on us, and I think we weren't being aggressive on the offensive side of things.
Now, it seems like throughout the season the Lady Titans have been a second-half team, and lately they've been keeping up in the first part of the first half, and then the halftime deficit would be so great that now the second half of the game plan is starting to hurt them when trying to come back in that kind of a deficit. Does that mean that it's difficult now at this point in the season to keep energy up for 40 minutes with all the games that have been played so far?
I think so. I think when you have a big deficit at this stage of the season, it's hard for the kids to say, okay, we have to do it again, or here we go again. So that's why we try to make it closer in the halftime than we would want to. Like last night we were only down by 6, I believe, at halftime, and that's really good for us, especially against W&J. But with us, we just really haven't been consistent. We've been so up and down, and that hurts. That kind of hurts us.
Now, this has been one of those stretches of the schedule again. You had it earlier this season, too, where you played the best two PAC teams back-to-back pretty much on the schedule. Is that a way for the team to mature when you play such competition like W&J and Thomas More back-to-back twice in a season?
I think so. It does, and I think last week losing to Grove City and then losing to Thomas More, we were really kind of hit bottom. We kind of, I think Grove City, we really wanted to win that game, and not playing well at all kind of brought us down, and then driving to Thomas More and getting our butts kicked, bottom line, it kind of, we hit the bottom. So coming back last night and playing, I think we played the best that we have in the past 5 games. It just sucked that we had to play W&J.
Yeah, speaking of W&J, saw a couple players take that loss pretty hard, and particularly Amy Dolsack, who we had on the show last week talking about the season and what was going to happen come playoff time. What do you have to tell a player when emotion starts to kick in, when frustration also kicks in as well?
With Amy, she gets so frustrated because she puts a lot of it on her shoulders, and she could not hit anything last night. I don't even know what she might have been like 2 for 16, and her getting frustrated. But she needs to forget. I just need to tell her today she needs to forget about it. Saturday is important. Is the most big game for us Saturday, and she just needs to forget about Wednesday and still be that shooter that we need her to be for Saturday.
Now, focusing a little bit more on Amy Dolsack, we've seen her get double-teamed a lot lately because people realize that she is a scoring threat and also a threat at the rim. What advice do you have to give a player who is so good but always finds that defensive pressure getting to her?
Well, I told her at halftime, because teams obviously try to be physical with her, double team her, and I just told her, I said, you can't let them get to you. They think they could push you around down there, and you just have to, you know that you're stronger than that, and don't get down and let the hits come. But you still need to play your game and still be focused. And I think W&J took her out of her game last night.
Now 5 games remaining for you ladies in this season. You got Waynesburg, Chatham, Teal, Bethany, and Geneva all coming up. Very similar stretch of games that you had earlier in the season as well, all consecutively like this. What do you think has to be the biggest factor that needs to be changed to be able to get the Lady Titans back on an upside of things?
I think if we continue with our defensive, we were really physical last night, and it was good to see. I was glad to see it, and we've been asking them to do that more this year, and it just can't get them to do that. And what my concern is, we need to bring that same type of style for Saturday, especially against Teal, Waynesburg, and Chatham, because we're all tied right now, and for the conference bottom second to the last, and we don't want to finish there. We want to finish up higher so we don't have to face Thomas More or W&J that first round.
Right, that's a very important stretch for you ladies. But are you impressed with the offensive intensity at times during the game? Because it seems like they're able to get the shots that they're looking for. That just seems like there's been a lid on the basket. So do you respect that they're able to get the shots that they're looking for?
Oh, I do. I think, though, at times we kind of force shots that we shouldn't take, It's sometimes we rush our shots when somebody is in our face, and we need to get the ball inside more in those type of situations. But we switched some things up offensively to try to get them more movement, their confidence up on that side. But we just have to put the ball in the basket now.
One of the things that we pointed out at the Grove City game, reflecting back, was that Caitlin McCarthy seems like she has an overdrive gear, and she's able to get inside and free up other players for open shots, but really haven't seen her do that a ton lately, and she didn't have many shots last night against W&J. Do you want to see her try to be more active with the basketball instead of passing it off and trying to take some more shots?
I do. I've been telling her all year that she needs to take shots, but you kind of lose her offensively. It's like she kind of just fades away and starts watching people, and she could take the ball to the basket, absolutely, but sometimes it's not the right time. But she's just still trying to grasp things on that side of things, because I think we need more. She's a point guard. We need her to be the leader out there and get people in their positions and take control verbally more, and that's where I need her to step up.
Now, something that we haven't mentioned yet is that, Coach, you're about to head for a milestone here. On Saturday, you have a chance to get career win number 100. Can you express in words what it means right now to be sitting on the bench and, wow, 100 wins? That's a milestone.
Well, it's kind of funny. I actually didn't have any idea, and this was probably 6 games ago or whatever, and somebody, one of my alumni game, and when I think it was Emily said something to me, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know what was happening. So no, I don't even really think about it. I think it is a great accomplishment. It just shows, I've had some great teams here, and everyone has worked hard. All my teams have worked hard for me, and that goes to them also, that for them too. But I mean, really, we just need to win for our standings in the conference tournament. That's what I'm concerned about.
Now, out of those last 5 games, Waynesburg, Chatham, Teal, Bethany, and Geneva, which one do you think is going to be the most critical to win out of those 5? You want to win all 5 of them, but which one do you think would give the team the biggest boost to get a victory at? Saturday,
Waynesburg. And then going into Teal, it's always tough going into the I call it the hot box in there. But I think Saturday, getting that win and then going with the momentum from there, I think that'll just to give us some confidence. We've been playing, we haven't been playing well the past couple weeks, and then last night we did, and it's still a loss. You could play well, but it still is a loss in that column. So the confidence, I want us to finally get that confidence back.
Okay, Coach. Well, thanks for being on the show, and hopefully you can pick up that win against Waynesburg on Saturday.
Thanks.
We've got Catherine Katab coming on the show next. Stick around. You're watching Coach's Corner on the Westminster Cable Network.
So nice out here.
Yeah, I used to come out here when I was a kid. Nothing. Relax.
No, I definitely heard something.
Who is that?
What are you doing?
to restart the door!
Okay.
He's got an axe!
He does?
Please!
I've tried! Come on, baby! Come on!
What is it?
Think history is a little scary? Then log on to loc.gov and see how much fun it can be. The Library of Congress at loc.gov.
One day these rats were playing in the woods. One of some matches and that's no good. So if a gorgeous force is what you decide, don't play with matches, don't play with fire. Yeah.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Fire.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner, and now we've got the ladies player coming up, and if you want to find her on the court, you just have to say the letters K and K. Catherine Katab. Welcome to the show, Catherine.
Thanks for having me.
Is it okay if I call you KK, by the way?
Please do. It's what I'm used to.
Excellent. Okay, now, about the season so far, obviously, as Coach Scott also talked about, it had its ups and downs. You guys have honestly had a pretty challenging schedule this season so far. What do you think has been the biggest challenge this season compared to last season?
Well, at the beginning, we lost, two great players, as everyone knows, Teresa and Emily. But I think our biggest challenge is, playing together and then, getting to know, the freshmen, how they play, and converting them into, teaching them, our style and how we play. But pretty much playing as a team is our biggest challenge.
Now, you seem like you are the player that has all the energy on the team. You make the game fun. You make the teammates all laugh. You get everyone pumped up. How does it feel to have that role, and how does it feel to have that effect on your teammates?
I love it, honestly. I've been like that since my freshman year, coming in, not knowing if you're going to play or not. So, you just get everyone involved, and it helps a lot, especially when teammates like Amy or someone gets down. It's, they like it, when I come pump them up, so that way we can continue on and finish our game.
And it definitely shows on the court, too, when you pump them all up. But you've also had the chance to play with, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, Emily Ackerman, Therese Marzalek, Desiree Sterling. What do you take away from playing with those players in the past to help you out on the court today?
I take a lot away from that because, especially Emily, she was a big idol of mine. I really loved the way she played. She worked hard, practices games, and that's what I try to do. Every time we go to practice, work as hard as you can. In games. Rachel Eaton was the same way. Desiree, she was a great player, so I just tried to pretty much be like they did. Through their enthusiasm and things like that. I
kind of saw a similarity between you and Emily Ackerman. I talked to her after the alumni game, and she was just all smiles, all fun, and it was fun to get to talk to her because it felt like it was the same kind of person as you were. But let's talk about team chemistry a little bit right now. A lot of freshmen, as you talked about, getting a lot of playing time, still getting their feet wet. What have they been able to do, and how have you had to help them adapt to the college level of play?
Well, as a freshman, it's hard because in high school, you're usually the big dog, the greatest player. But then coming in here, you're behind, 3 years of experienced players. And it's hard to realize that, maybe I'll be sitting the bench for a while. And we were lucky because, some of our freshmen quit, so we only have 3. We have a small team. And so they were lucky and able to play. I just kind of try to remind them that, it is obviously a fast-paced game, and we don't look at them as freshmen anymore. We look at them because, we're, about 20 games, even more into the season, and they've been playing ever since. So we just tell them, you're not freshmen anymore. You have to step up and, play with us. So.
Can you measure in a number of games or in a number of months exactly how long a process like that would take to get adapted to a higher transition game and a faster-paced game?
It'd have to take a while. It just depends because, some girls just play high school, and I would say it'd probably take 2 to 3 months to, even have practices and games to transition. But, some players like I and others played AAU, which is a faster-paced game. So for me, it was definitely from AAU to college, it was probably 1.5 month transition. But, you get used to it, especially in practice because, you scrimmage in practice, so you're up and down, and they've, realized the style of game that you play.
So hard to believe the season is flying by this quickly. Only 5 games left. Playoffs are coming, and you know what it takes to get to that PAC championship game because you were there last year. You got a stretch of games that can help you guys really get some momentum. How critical is this stretch of the season when momentum has either been on your side or not on your side all season?
Well, right now, Saturday's the biggest game pretty much of our lives right now, because as Coach Scott said, we're second to last in the pack, and it's somewhere you do not want to be. But I guess just the Saturdays we're focusing on, because if obviously we've lost the past 5 games, and the last 2 were Dub J and Thomas More, which the big dogs in our pack. So beating Waynesburg, because we're tied in a 3 spot with them. So if we beat them, then I think it'll help us carry on to the Teal and then the rest of the games.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Coach Scott. Does playing Thomas More and W&J back-to-back twice in the same season add to the maturity of the team? Did you happen to find a new chemistry inside yourselves when you play those games and realize that that's the powerhouses that are going to be the threat to win the pack?
I definitely think we did, because when we went to Thomas More, we had that, snow day, and we had a game get canceled. And it was hard, we obviously, people who've seen it, we did not play a great game at all. And then coming off of that and going to Dub J, it is hard. It's really hard, but I think we did mature. I think we realized that we do need to play as a team, and we do need to be consistent if we're going to, beat those 2 big teams.
We talked about Coach Scott going for career victory number 100. What would it mean to you to get Coach Scott that victory?
Actually, I didn't even know she was going for that, but that's actually real exciting. That'd be actually something exciting for me, as my senior year, and helping her achieve another win, like her 100th win, would be actually a great thing, because she's a great coach, so that'd be great.
So as a senior, what's in the future for Catherine Katab after this season's over?
That's a good question. Actually, this Saturday, I will be maybe a little late to my game. I'm taking my law school admissions test, second time this Saturday. So cross fingers. I need to I did good the first time, but I need to do better. So my plan is law school, and then probably more likely move back down to the south, because it's a little warmer down there than it is up here.
Well, that's a good question I was going to ask you about, too. I mean, you come from Bixby, Oklahoma. Any major differences between New Wilmington and Bixby, Oklahoma?
Yeah, there's actually a lot. I mean, there's no Amish down there, but this town's real small, we have Market Street, and that's it. In Bixby, it's huge. When I first got there, it was small, kind of like this, but now it's big. We graduate 700 kids from our class, which is obviously pretty much more than what I'm graduating this year. So yeah, it's definitely a lot bigger than New Wilmington is.
Cool. Well, KK, thank you so much for being on the show, and good luck in the rest of your games this season.
Thank you.
Going to be exciting to watch, and when we come back, Coach Ondeko from the men's team. You're watching Coach's Corner on the Westminster Cable Network.
What is that thing?
Looks like somebody's double chin. Must have lost it snacking on fruits and vegetables.
Come on, boy. Come on. What do you got there, Yogi? Huh? What have you found? What do you got, little fella? Drop it. Looks like someone's butt. Man, they probably lost it playing with their kids. Hey, leave it. Come on. Come on.
And welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm Andy Bortz, and now we're going to cover the men's basketball team. And joining me in the hot seat once again is men's head coach Larry Ondeko. Coach, again, thanks for being in the hot seat.
Well, no problem.
Let's talk back to the game against Grove City. That was one of the games this season that was delayed by snow. And I remember after watching that game, our radio announcers, Dr. B and Brandon Fillion, saying if they could get on fire from behind the arc, then they'd be in really good shape. That happened, talking about the Titans, and you guys obviously won the game. Talk about the effort in the game that night to get that three-point shooting up to where it was.
Oh, the guys played a really good game. We thought we had a good game plan. They felt like, even though we played poorly at our place, they felt they should have won the game against them the first time, and we're excited to get over there and play. We always play well over there. It's a good game. We always play against Grove City, and especially after missing the regular scheduled game on Wednesday, then they're really anxious to play on Thursday. So, they did exactly what we told them they needed to do, and to get the shots, and then it kind of falls on their shoulders to make them, and they did it.
It was fun to watch them all rein in, and that was indeed a great game for the Titans. Also an exciting game in Thomas More, despite the loss in overtime. Let's talk about that game a little bit. What was the big difference in overtime that allowed Thomas More to come out on top?
Well, there wasn't a big difference. It's only 5 minutes, and they only win by a couple. It basically ends up being one possession, a couple fouls, and the game ends up a 5-point game. But, the big difference was we were up by 4. They scored to cut it to 2, and then we got a wide-open 3. And missed it. And, if we knock that in with 2 minutes left, you're up by 5 and in good shape. Instead, we miss and they score and tie it. And now you're just, like I said, it's a possession here and there. And, it's on their home court. They're in first place. And they did what they needed to do in those last couple minutes to get the win. But we certainly did what we needed to do to get the game to overtime and certainly have a chance. So can't be too upset with the effort and the outcome when you take into consideration where they are and where we were, and obviously you go get ready for the next game.
And obviously it was a great effort, but do you find that, or do the players find that a bitter pill to swallow?
Oh, certainly. The comeback and all that's nice, but unless you walk out of there with a win, it really all goes for naught. So we felt like. We felt like we should have won the game. We felt like there were a bunch of things early in the game we didn't do that would have prevented us from even being in that situation. So, that was the disappointing thing. And, again, tough to get on the bus and drive home 5 hours knowing that you might have let one slip away.
Now, you guys have proven all season that you can hang with any of the teams in the President's Athletic Conference with the shooting lights up, especially from behind the arc. Many of the Titans, I've noticed, don't need much space. They need just a little bit of space to shoot that 3-ball. And my question to you is, do you anticipate that 3-point shot being a weapon to possibly get more inside shots as the playoffs get near?
Well, you certainly would think so. Teams are going to guard us tighter. They're not just going to let us stand there and shoot wide open jump shots. And we got to figure out a way to get the ball inside, whether it be from the pass or the dribble. And as evidenced by Wednesday night's game against W&J, we haven't figured out either. That's something we got to work on, not only for Saturday, but in our off week. And then, like you said, as you head into the PAC playoffs, you start playing a team for a third time. They're not just going to let people stand there. They're just not going to let Max Spinner and Ryan Murray stand there and shoot wide open jump shots and make them. They're going to get up and defend them hard. So we got to figure out ways to combat that, and that's obviously our job.
The defensive effort has really picked up too for the Titans. Can you talk about what the big difference has been in this stretch of games where you guys were able to win 6 of your last 9 or 10 that's really helped the defensive effort?
Well, a lot of it was just getting enough practice and playing together. You have to get that cohesiveness. You kind of have to know what the guy beside you doing. And when you're dealing with freshmen and people coming back from a lot of injuries and you're not getting a lot of practice with that, it's hard. We end up with 2 guys on the ball or nobody guarding the ball and things like that. And now we've got a little bit of cohesiveness, and our defense has been much better. So, you get a little more time with playing, make sure you're playing every Wednesday and Saturday instead of those stretches in your exhibition where you might be playing 3 games in a week, so you can concentrate on things a little bit more. So, all those things factor in, and then obviously the kids got to put in a great deal of effort to make it all work.
Let's go back to last night's game against W&J, another tough loss, but you did have a milestone for Ryan Murray, 1,000 career points for him. He seems like he gets better every single game. Can you put that into words, exactly what he does to get himself better and better?
Yeah, well, he had, I'd stick with it till we got to last night, then he went backwards. But he played an unbelievable week last week. So maybe you can say, hey, you can't get 32 points and 18 rebounds every game. And W&J was ready for him and, defended well to take nothing away from Ryan. But, 1,000 points is obviously a great accomplishment. Certainly to do it in the amount of time he's done it is another tremendous accomplishment. And he's been playing great basketball for us all year. So, a subpar game here and there is expected. And you have to be able to combat that, and we certainly didn't.
Now, you've got 4 games remaining on the schedule this season, and one of them coming up this Saturday. Which of those 4 games do you think is going to be the most important for the Titans to win to get them some momentum come to playoffs?
Well, Saturday, I mean, you got to get off streaks as fast as you can, especially a losing streak. So we've lost 2 in a row, so you got to get this win on Saturday and not be on a 3-game losing streak going into your bye week. But obviously, they're all important. You got to win them all, and we certainly can. But if we don't play much better than we have the past 2 games, you can certainly lose them all. So that's kind of been the way our conference is set up this year. The 5th place team is every bit as good as the 1st place team, but if you don't get it done in those 40 minutes, it doesn't really matter. And that's what we haven't done in the past week.
Can you pinpoint one thing that has really been the key to having the Titans get on that winning streak a little bit earlier in the season that's going to be needed coming into the final stretch?
Yeah, it was our offensive execution, and it's just gone downhill in a hurry. And again, as we sit here and tape this, we're not sure exactly why. That's what we were trying to figure out before I came up here, and we'll go down and try and figure it back out some more and work on it tonight and tomorrow in practice. But that's one of the things I got to find out from our guys as to why it's not working. And it's one thing to have these problems early in the year, and then we got away from them, and now we're back to them, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So we'll keep plugging along, and like I said, I think if we get that straightened out, very simply, we'll be fine.
As the season winds down, who right now do you envision being a pack opponent that you know you could beat?
Oh, I really feel confident playing anybody, really anywhere. I think we've got a good basketball team if we do the things we're supposed to do. And again, I think it's been proven when we don't play well, we've still been able to hang in games. Last night we didn't play well and we got drilled pretty good by W&J, but we didn't play very well against Thomas More. We didn't play very well against Grove City the first time. We didn't play very well against Waynesburg, and you're still right in those ball games. So I think if you get those things straightened out, certainly gives us an excellent chance to beat anybody. So we give a lot of respect to all our teams, but certainly feel that when we step out on the court, we've got every bit as good a chance of winning as the other teams do.
Okay, Coach, well, we hope you can turn it around against Waynesburg, and we'll see what happens on the final stretch of the season.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be back to Coach's Corner in a moment. Stay tuned.
I'm open! Shoot it, Cassie! Shoot it!
There's a better way to have fun with history.
It's okay, Amelia.
Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around, learn something.
On 3. 1.
Oh, hey, mister. Studied algebra in school and got a better job than I could. You take the last cut.
Oh, no, mister. Stuck in an entry-level job because you only learned basic math. I don't have a boss riding my butt like you do, so you take it so you can get back to your desk.
I probably should, but maybe Miss AP Calculus with the $200 haircut in the big office upstairs would like a cup.
Oh, no, Mr. What was your name again? Never mind, it doesn't matter. I'm too busy doing important things to care. I just came down for some sweet and start.
If my limited math abilities weren't keeping me from getting a better job, I'd quit this afternoon.
I don't blame you. But thank goodness you're stuck here because we really need someone to make the coffee.
I want to thank you very much for joining us on Coach's Corner. Don't forget, the County Line is coming up next here on the Westminster Cable Network. I'm Andy Bortz. Have a great evening.